Have you ever felt like the world is just too noisy? Like you can't hear your own thoughts over the constant buzz of life? Well, here's a secret that might surprise you. Solitude, the simple act of being alone, could be the key to unlocking a whole new level of personal growth and inner peace. Now I know what you're thinking. Being alone? That sounds boring, maybe even a bit scary. But hang on, because this isn't about being lonely or isolated. It's about discovering a powerful tool that's been right under our noses all along. Imagine having a superpower that could help you understand yourself better, boost your creativity, and even improve your relationships with others. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, that's exactly what embracing solitude can do for you. It's like having a secret room in your mind where you can go to recharge, reflect, and grow. And the best part, it's completely free and available to everyone. But here's the thing. In our always connected world, we've kind of forgotten how to be alone. We're constantly surrounded by noise, notifications, and the endless chatter of social media. It's like we're afraid of what might happen if we just stop, if we turn off the noise and face ourselves. That's where the real magic happens, though. That's where we can start to peel back the layers and get to know who we really are. Now let's talk about what happens if we don't learn to be comfortable with solitude. It's a bit like never turning off your phone. Eventually the battery dies and you're left scrambling. If you don't take the time to disconnect and recharge, you might find yourself feeling constantly drained, always chasing the next distraction to avoid facing your own thoughts and feelings. Think about it. When was the last time you sat in silence with no TV, no music, no scrolling through your phone? For many of us, the answer might be, I can't remember. And that's a problem, because when we're always connected, always distracted, we miss out on some pretty amazing personal discoveries. We might not hear that quiet voice inside us that knows what we really want or need. We might keep making the same mistakes or feeling stuck simply because we never give ourselves the space to figure things out. But here's the real kicker. To truly grow as a person, to find that inner peace we're all searching for, we need to face our own thoughts and feelings without all those distractions. It's like cleaning out a cluttered room. At first, it might seem overwhelming. You might want to just close the door and pretend the mess isn't there. But once you start sorting through things, getting rid of what you don't need, you end up with a space that feels open, peaceful, and uniquely yours. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. This isn't always easy. Facing yourself, really looking at your thoughts and feelings without any distractions, can be challenging. You might encounter some things you've been avoiding, some fears or insecurities you've been pushing down. But here's the amazing thing. When you face these things head-on, in the quiet of solitude, you start to realize they're not as scary as you thought. You start to understand yourself better, and with understanding comes acceptance and growth. It's a bit like exercising a muscle you haven't used in a while. At first, it might feel uncomfortable, maybe even a little painful, but the more you do it, the stronger that muscle gets. And soon, you find yourself capable of things you never thought possible. That's what embracing solitude can do for your mind and spirit. So what exactly do we mean when we talk about solitude? It's important to understand that solitude isn't the same as loneliness. Loneliness is that empty feeling you get when you want connection but don't have it. Solitude, on the other hand, is a choice. It's about purposefully spending time alone, not because you have to, but because you want to. Think of it like this. Solitude is like taking yourself on a date. You're choosing to spend quality time with the most important person in your life. You. It's about creating a space where you can hear your own thoughts, feel your own feelings, and just be, without the need to perform or please anyone else. This might look different for different people. For some, it might mean taking a quiet walk in nature. For others, it could be sitting in a comfortable chair with a cup of tea, just letting thoughts flow. The key is that it's intentional time spent alone, free from the distractions of technology and other people's demands. Now here's where it gets really interesting. When you start practicing solitude, you're actually creating space for some pretty amazing things to happen. It's like clearing the stage so your true self can step into the spotlight. In solitude, you might start to notice things about yourself that you never realized before. Maybe you'll discover a passion you've been ignoring, or find the solution to a problem that's been bugging you. You might uncover dreams and goals you'd forgotten about, or gain new insights into your relationships and choices. This kind of self-discovery is priceless. It's the foundation for personal growth and finding that inner peace we all crave. When you know yourself, really know yourself, you become more confident in your decisions, more authentic in your relationships, and more at peace with who you are. There's also a deeply spiritual aspect to solitude. Many spiritual traditions, from Buddhism to Christianity, emphasize the importance of spending time alone in reflection or meditation. There's a reason for this. In the quiet of solitude, we often feel more connected to something larger than ourselves. This doesn't have to be religious if that's not your thing. It might simply be a sense of connection to nature, to the universe, or to your own inner wisdom. Whatever it is for you, solitude provides the space for these deeper connections to flourish. In our busy, noisy world, these moments of quiet connection are more valuable than ever. They help us put things in perspective, reminding us that there's more to life than our daily worries and to-do lists. This can be incredibly calming and centering, helping us navigate life's challenges with more grace and ease. Now let's talk about some of the concrete benefits you might experience when you start embracing solitude. First up is stress reduction. When you give yourself regular periods of quiet alone time, you're giving your mind and body a chance to relax and reset. It's like hitting the pause button on life's constant demands. This reduction in stress can have amazing ripple effects. You might find yourself sleeping better, feeling more patient with others, and generally more able to handle life's ups and downs. It's like building up a reservoir of calm that you can draw from when things get hectic. Another big benefit is increased creativity. When you're alone with your thoughts, without the constant input from others or from media, your mind is free to wander and make new connections. This is often when the best ideas strike, those aha moments that seem to come out of nowhere. Improved focus is another great benefit of solitude. In our multitasking world, the ability to concentrate deeply on one thing is becoming rare and valuable. Regular periods of solitude can help train your mind to focus, making you more productive and efficient in all areas of life. One of the most profound benefits of solitude is increased self-awareness. When you spend time alone, you start to notice your thoughts and feelings more clearly. You might become aware of patterns in your thinking or behavior that you hadn't noticed before. This self-awareness is incredibly valuable. It's like having a map of your inner landscape. With this map, you can start to make conscious choices about who you want to be and how you want to live. You can catch negative thought patterns before they spiral and nurture the parts of yourself that bring you joy and fulfillment. This increased self-awareness often leads to better decision-making. When you're in touch with your true feelings and values, you're less likely to make choices based on what others expect or what you think you should do. Instead, you can make decisions that truly align with who you are and what you want out of life. Here's something that might surprise you. Spending time alone can actually improve your relationships with others. It might seem counterintuitive, but it's true. When you're comfortable with yourself and have a strong sense of who you are, you bring that stability and self-awareness into your interactions with others. You become less needy, less likely to look to others to fill a void in yourself. Instead, you can approach relationships from a place of wholeness, offering your authentic self and appreciating others for who they truly are. Plus, the insights you gain during your alone time can help you understand and empathize with others better. You might start to see patterns in your relationships, understanding why certain interactions always seem to go a certain way. With this understanding, you can start to change those patterns and build healthier, more fulfilling relationships. Now let's address the elephant in the room. For many people, the idea of spending time alone is scary. We're so used to constant connection and stimulation that the thought of just sitting with our own thoughts can be intimidating. If you feel this way, you're not alone. In fact, studies have shown that many people would rather give themselves electric shocks than sit alone with their thoughts for 15 minutes. But here's the thing. This discomfort is totally normal, and it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. Think of it like learning any new skill. At first, it feels awkward and uncomfortable, but with practice, it gets easier, and soon you start to enjoy it. The same is true with solitude. The key is to start small and be patient with yourself. If the idea of spending a whole day alone seems overwhelming, don't worry. You don't have to dive into the deep end right away. Start with just a few minutes a day. Maybe try sitting quietly for 5 minutes when you first wake up, before you check your phone or turn on the TV. As you get more comfortable, you can gradually increase the time. Maybe try a 15-minute walk without your headphones, just noticing your surroundings and your thoughts. Or spend your lunch break sitting quietly in a park instead of scrolling through social media. Remember, there's no right way to practice solitude. The goal is simply to create space in your life for quiet reflection. How that looks will be different for everyone. One reason people often avoid solitude is that they're afraid of the thoughts and feelings that might come up when they're alone. And it's true. When you start spending time in solitude, you might encounter some uncomfortable emotions or memories. But here's the thing. Avoiding these thoughts and feelings doesn't make them go away. In fact, pushing them down often just makes them stronger. When you give yourself the space to acknowledge and feel these emotions, you start to realize that they're not as overwhelming as you feared. It's a bit like cleaning out a wound. It might sting at first, but it's necessary for healing. As you practice sitting with your thoughts and feelings without judgment, you'll likely find that they become less intimidating over time. As you become more comfortable with the idea of solitude, you might want to create a more structured practice. This could be as simple as setting aside 20 minutes each day for quiet reflection, or it could involve more formal practices like meditation or journaling. The key is to find what works for you. Maybe you enjoy starting your day with a quiet cup of coffee and some reflective time, or perhaps you prefer to wind down in the evening with a solitary walk. Experiment with different times and activities until you find what feels right. Remember, the goal isn't to isolate yourself completely. It's about finding a balance between solitude and social connection. You're creating a space for yourself to recharge and reflect so you can bring your best self to your interactions with others. One particularly powerful way to practice solitude is to spend time in nature. There's something about being surrounded by trees or listening to the sound of waves that seems to naturally quiet the mind and open the heart. If you have access to natural spaces, try taking a solo hike or spending time sitting by a lake or in a park. Even if you live in a city, you can often find pockets of nature, a small garden, a single tree on your street. The key is to engage with the natural world around you, noticing the details and allowing yourself to feel a part of something larger than yourself. Many great artists, writers, and thinkers have spoken about the importance of solitude for their creative process. When you're alone, without the input and expectations of others, your mind is free to make new connections and explore new ideas. If you have a creative pursuit, whether it's writing, painting, music, or anything else, try incorporating some solitude into your practice. You might be surprised at what emerges when you give yourself the space to create without judgment or interruption. Even if you don't consider yourself particularly creative, you might find that solitude sparks new ideas or solutions in your work or personal life. Sometimes, stepping back and giving yourself space to think can lead to breakthroughs you never expected. One of the most powerful aspects of solitude is its ability to foster personal growth. When you spend time alone, you have the opportunity to reflect on your life, your choices, and your values. You can ask yourself big questions. Am I living the life I want to live? What changes do I want to make? What's truly important to me? This kind of reflection is crucial for personal development. It's in these quiet moments that we often gain the clarity and courage to make positive changes in our lives. Maybe you'll realize you need to end a toxic relationship, or that it's time to pursue a long-held dream, or perhaps you'll simply gain a deeper appreciation for the good things in your life. Whatever insights arise, the practice of solitude gives you the space to not just think about these things, but to really feel them and let them sink in. This deep, felt understanding is what often leads to lasting change and growth. Finally, let's talk about how solitude can lead to that elusive quality we're all seeking: inner peace. In our busy, noisy world, true peace can seem hard to come by. We're constantly bombarded with information, demands on our time and attention, and the pressure to always be doing something. But in solitude, we can find a different kind of peace. It's not about everything in your life being perfect or problem-free. Instead, it's about finding a calm center within yourself, a place of stillness that you can return to no matter what's going on around you. As you practice solitude, you might start to notice a sense of spaciousness in your mind. The constant chatter of thoughts begins to quiet down. You might experience moments of true stillness, where you feel completely at peace with yourself and the world around you. This inner peace isn't just a nice feeling. It can have profound effects on your life. When you're at peace with yourself, you're less reactive to the ups and downs of daily life. You're more able to respond to challenges with calm and clarity, rather than getting swept up in stress and anxiety. As we wrap up, let's talk about how you can start bringing more solitude into your daily life. Remember, this isn't about completely isolating yourself or avoiding all social contact. It's about creating pockets of quiet time in your day, spaces where you can check in with yourself and recharge. Start your day with a few minutes of quiet reflection before you check your phone or turn on the news. Take a short walk during your lunch break, leaving your phone behind. Create a cozy corner in your home where you can sit quietly and read or just be with your thoughts. Try a simple meditation practice, even if it's just for 5 minutes a day. Spend some time in nature, whether it's a nearby park or your own backyard. Keep a journal, using it to reflect on your thoughts and feelings. Practice doing activities you enjoy, like reading, gardening, or crafting, alone, without the TV or music on in the background. Remember, the goal is to make solitude a regular part of your life, not just something you do once in a while. Like any skill, it gets easier and more rewarding with practice. As you start to embrace solitude, be patient with yourself. It might feel strange or uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to constant stimulation. But stick with it. The benefits: reduced stress, increased self-awareness, improved creativity, and that sense of inner peace are well worth the effort. Now that we've covered the basics of solitude and its importance, let's dive deeper into how you can start practicing it in your daily life. Remember, this isn't about becoming a hermit or cutting yourself off from the world. It's about creating intentional moments of alone time that allow you to recharge, reflect, and grow. The key to embracing solitude is to start small. If you've never really spent time alone before, jumping into a week-long silent retreat might feel overwhelming. Instead, begin with just a few minutes each day. Set aside 10-15 minutes in a quiet place, free from distractions. Turn off your phone, step away from your computer, and just sit. At first, this might feel uncomfortable. Your mind might race, thinking of all the things you should be doing instead. That's okay. The goal isn't to clear your mind completely. That's nearly impossible. But to practice being present with yourself. Just observe your thoughts without judging them. It's like watching clouds pass across the sky. You see them, but you don't need to grab onto them. As you get more comfortable with these short periods of solitude, you can gradually increase the time. Maybe you'll work up to 30 minutes or even an hour. The important thing is to make it a regular practice, like brushing your teeth or exercising. Consistency is key when it comes to reaping the benefits of solitude. To make your solitude practice easier, it can help to create a dedicated space for it. This doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just a corner of your bedroom or a comfortable chair by a window can work. The important thing is that it's a place where you feel calm and undisturbed. Personalize this space to make it inviting. Maybe add a soft cushion, a cozy blanket, or a plant. Some people like to include meaningful objects, like a favorite book or an inspiring quote. The goal is to create an environment that helps you relax and turn inward. If you can't create a permanent solitude space, don't worry. The beauty of this practice is that you can do it anywhere. A park bench, a quiet corner of a library, or even your car parked in a peaceful spot can all serve as temporary solitude spaces. The most important space is the one you create in your mind. While simply sitting quietly is a great way to practice solitude, there are many other activities you can try. Here are a few ideas. Journaling. Writing down your thoughts can be a powerful way to process your feelings and gain insights. Meditation. This ancient practice can help calm your mind and increase self-awareness. Walking in nature. A solo walk in a park or forest can be both calming and inspiring. Creating art. Whether it's drawing, painting, or crafting, creative activities can be deeply meditative. Reading. Losing yourself in a good book is a wonderful way to enjoy solitude. Gardening. Tending to plants can be a peaceful, grounding activity. Yoga or gentle stretching. Moving your body mindfully can help quiet your thoughts. Remember, the goal of these activities isn't to achieve anything specific or to be productive. It's simply to be present with yourself, free from external distractions. For many people, the idea of spending time alone can be scary. We're so used to constant connection and stimulation that silence and solitude can feel uncomfortable, even threatening. If you feel this way, know that you're not alone. It's a common reaction in our hyper-connected world. Often, the fear of being alone stems from a fear of confronting our own thoughts and feelings. When we're constantly distracted, it's easy to avoid dealing with difficult emotions or challenging aspects of our lives. Solitude strips away those distractions, leaving us face to face with ourselves. Another source of this fear can be the belief that being alone means being lonely. But remember, solitude is a choice. It's not the same as loneliness, which is an unwanted state of isolation. In fact, practicing solitude can actually help you feel less lonely in the long run as you become more comfortable with yourself. The key to overcoming this fear is to face it head-on. Start with small periods of solitude and gradually increase them. As you do this, pay attention to what comes up for you. Are there specific thoughts or feelings that make you uncomfortable? Instead of trying to push them away, try to observe them with curiosity and compassion. It can help to remind yourself that these uncomfortable feelings are temporary. They might feel intense at first, but as you continue to practice solitude, you'll likely find that they become less overwhelming over time. Another helpful strategy is to reframe how you think about solitude. Instead of seeing it as something to be feared or endured, try to view it as a gift you're giving yourself. It's a chance to rest, to explore your inner world, and to get to know yourself better. Think of it like this. You probably enjoy spending time with your closest friends, right? Well, you have the potential to be your own best friend. Solitude gives you the opportunity to cultivate that relationship with yourself. As you practice solitude, it's important to approach yourself with kindness and compassion. You might encounter thoughts or feelings that you don't like. That's okay. Instead of judging yourself for these, try to offer yourself the same understanding and support you would give to a good friend. Remember, the goal of solitude isn't to be perfect or to always feel good. It's to be authentic with yourself, to accept all parts of who you are. This self-acceptance is a powerful foundation for personal growth and inner peace. While we've been focusing on the benefits of solitude, it's important to remember that humans are social creatures. We need connection with others just as much as we need time alone. The key is to find a healthy balance between the two. Interestingly, solitude and social connection can actually enhance each other. When you spend quality time alone, you get to know yourself better. You become more aware of your own thoughts, feelings, and needs. This self-awareness can then help you engage more authentically in your relationships with others. On the flip side, your social interactions can provide fuel for your solitude practice. Conversations with others might spark new ideas or bring up feelings that you can then explore more deeply when you're alone. The right balance between solitude and social time will be different for everyone. Some people might thrive with an hour of solitude each day, while others might prefer longer periods of alone time less frequently. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. Pay attention to how you feel after spending time alone and after social interactions. Do you feel energized or drained? This can give you clues about what balance works best for you. And remember, This balance might change over time or in different life circumstances. The important thing is to stay tuned in to your needs. As you start to prioritize solitude in your life, you might need to communicate this to the people around you. If you live with family or a partner, for example, you might need to explain why you're seeking more alone time. Reassure them that it's not about avoiding them, but about taking care of yourself so you can be more present when you are together. You might even inspire others to explore solitude themselves. Sharing your experiences and the benefits you're noticing can help normalize the practice of intentional alone time. Your need for and approach to solitude might vary depending on your life stage. If you're a parent of young children, for example, finding time alone might be particularly challenging. You might need to get creative, like waking up a bit earlier or taking turns with a partner to give each other solo time. On the other hand, if you're retired or living alone, you might have plenty of time to yourself. In this case, the challenge might be in making your alone time intentional and meaningful, rather than just passing the time. Regardless of your life stage, remember that even small moments of solitude can be powerful. A few minutes of quiet reflection in the morning or a short solo walk in the evening can make a big difference in your overall well-being. Making solitude a habit. Now that we've explored the benefits of solitude and how to overcome the initial challenges, let's focus on making it a regular part of your life. Like any new habit, incorporating solitude into your routine takes time and dedication. But with consistency, it can become as natural as brushing your teeth or having your morning coffee. The key to making solitude a habit is to integrate it into your daily routine. This might look different for everyone, depending on your schedule and preferences. Here are a few ideas. Morning reflection. Start your day with 10-15 minutes of quiet time before checking your phone or starting your usual routine. Lunchtime pause. Use part of your lunch break for a short solo walk or sit quietly in a park. Evening wind down. End your day with a period of solitude, perhaps journaling or meditating before bed. Weekend retreat. Set aside a longer period of time on the weekend for more extended solitude practice. The important thing is to choose times that work for you and stick to them. Consistency is key when forming any new habit. As you try to make solitude a regular practice, you'll likely encounter some obstacles. Maybe you find yourself constantly postponing your alone time or getting distracted when you do sit down to practice. This is normal. Here are some strategies to help. Start small. If an hour feels overwhelming, start with just 5 minutes a day. Set reminders. Use your phone or calendar to prompt you for your solitude time. Prepare your space. Have a dedicated area ready for your practice to minimize setup time. Be flexible. If you miss your usual time, don't give up. Find another moment in the day. Track your progress. Keep a simple log of your solitude practice to stay motivated. Remember, the goal isn't perfection. It's about making solitude a regular part of your life, even if it's not always at the same time or for the same duration each day. As solitude becomes more habitual, you might want to deepen your practice. This could involve extending the duration of your solitude periods, trying new solitude activities like meditation or journaling, going on a solo retreat for a day or weekend, exploring different environments for your practice like nature settings. The key is to keep your practice fresh and engaging. As you spend more time in solitude, you'll likely discover what resonates most with you. For many people, solitude can be a deeply spiritual experience. Whether you follow a specific religious tradition or consider yourself more spiritual than religious, solitude can provide a space for connecting with something larger than yourself. The spiritual dimension of solitude. In the quiet of solitude, many people find they're able to connect more deeply with their sense of the divine, the universe, or their own inner wisdom. This connection can bring a sense of peace, purpose, and perspective that's hard to find in the busyness of everyday life. Many religious and spiritual traditions recognize the value of solitude. In Christianity, for example, Jesus often withdrew to quiet places to pray. Buddhist practices like meditation emphasize the importance of turning inward. Native American traditions include vision quests, which involve periods of solitude in nature. Even if you don't follow a specific tradition, you can draw inspiration from these practices. The common thread is creating space for reflection, contemplation, and connection with something beyond the everyday. If you're interested in exploring the spiritual side of solitude, here are some practices you might try. Meditation. This can range from simple breathing exercises to more structured practices. Prayer. If you're religious, solitude can be a perfect time for prayer. Mindfulness. Practice being fully present in the moment, aware of your thoughts and sensations without judgment. Contemplative reading. Read spiritual or inspirational texts slowly, pausing to reflect on their meaning. Nature connection. Spend time alone in nature, observing and appreciating the world around you. Gratitude practice. Use your solitude time to reflect on what you're thankful for. Remember, spirituality is deeply personal. What feels meaningful and connecting for one person might not resonate with another. Feel free to experiment and find what works for you. While we've focused a lot on the benefits of solitude, it's important to remember that humans are social creatures. We need connection just as much as we need time alone. The key is finding the right balance for you. Interestingly, solitude and social connection can enhance each other. Time alone can help you understand yourself better, making you more present and authentic in your relationships. And meaningful social interactions can provide food for thought during your solitude practice. The right balance between solitude and social time will be different for everyone. Some people might thrive with an hour of solitude each day, while others might prefer longer periods of alone time less frequently. Pay attention to how you feel after spending time alone and after social interactions. This can give you clues about what balance works best for you. As you start to prioritize solitude in your life, you might need to communicate this to the people around you. If you live with family or a partner, for example, you might need to explain why you're seeking more alone time. Reassure them that it's not about avoiding them, but about taking care of yourself so you can be more present when you are together. Your need for an approach to solitude might vary depending on your life stage. If you're a parent of young children, for example, finding time alone might be particularly challenging. You might need to get creative, like waking up a bit earlier or taking turns with a partner to give each other solo time. On the other hand, if you're retired or living alone, you might have plenty of time to yourself. In this case, the challenge might be in making your alone time intentional and meaningful, rather than just passing the time. As we wrap up our exploration of solitude, let's take a moment to reflect on the journey we've taken. We've delved into the power of spending time alone, from its ability to reduce stress and boost creativity to its potential for deepening self-awareness and spiritual connection. We've tackled the fears that can come with facing ourselves in silence and explored practical ways to incorporate solitude into our daily lives. We've seen how solitude can be a powerful tool for personal growth, helping us to understand ourselves better and in turn relate more authentically to others. Remember, embracing solitude isn't about isolating yourself from the world. It's about creating a balance, finding those moments of quiet reflection that can anchor us in the midst of our busy lives. It's about developing a relationship with yourself that's as nurturing and meaningful as your relationships with others. As you move forward from here, I encourage you to start small. Maybe it's 5 minutes of quiet reflection in the morning or a solo walk in the evening. Whatever form it takes, give yourself the gift of solitude. Be patient with yourself as you develop this practice. Like any skill, it gets easier and more rewarding with time. In our increasingly connected world, the ability to be comfortably alone with ourselves is becoming a rare and valuable skill. By cultivating this ability, you're not just improving your own life, you're developing a deeper capacity for peace, authenticity, and connection that ripples out into everything you do. So here's to embracing solitude, to turning down the noise of the world and tuning into the wisdom within. Your journey of self-discovery awaits, and it begins in those quiet moments when you choose to be alone. Remember, in solitude, you're not just by yourself, you're with yourself, and that can be the most enriching company of all.